Speaking of defamation, from the post-millennial, CNN found liable for defaming Navy veteran in Jake Tapper segment, $5 million awarded. This is a sad story, man. I feel bad for this guy. Listen to this. Young was working to evacuate Afghans during the Biden administration chaotic military withdrawal. In 2021, Tapper misrepresented Young and his work, and Young stated he hasn't been able to work since. Check this out. They say, according to the Free Beacon, Young alleged that a segment aired in November 2021, which aired in November of 2021 on The Lead, singled him out and portrayed him as an illegal profiteer who operated in a black market. Young, who had the segment irreparably destroyed his business, Nemex Enterprises, and reputation, worked to evacuate Afghans during the Biden-Harris administration's deadly and chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan. He testified that since that segment ran, he hasn't worked or made money. During closing arguments, CNN attorney David Axelrod, that's interesting, claimed that the story was accurate and tough but fair, and that Young should have gone out of his way to convince journalists with the outlet that he wasn't shady. Mr. Young put himself in the story, not CNN. He inserted himself into it to make a buck, Axelrod told the jury, adding, "Use your common sense. Do you see a conspiracy, or do you see people just doing their best?" So ultimately, CNN lost this. This is huge. They go on to say, I don't know if there's any more to add to this, blah, blah, blah. They've got to pay $5 million. I can't believe they actually tried to continually argue after the fact instead of settling when they defamed a guy and destroyed his life and business.
Isn't $5 million, doesn't that qualify as a nuisance settlement to them?
Yes.
No, $5
million is
no way.
CNN?
Well, I mean, it's interesting because CNN's, I don't think they're doing so hot, right? Their ratings are in the gutter. What do they get, like 50,000, 40,000 in the key demo?
Yeah.
We have,
you guys might get more views than them probably.
We have more watching at any one moment than they get in their entire prime time lineup.
There you go.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
So they're probably hurting for this. It's pretty wild that they tried taking this all the way, and I'm wondering if there's going to be precedent set from this in any way, but I feel bad for this guy. Could you imagine being like a veteran who's trying to evacuate people because Biden screwed up? I wonder if the real reason CNN defamed him is because CNN was trying to run cover for the Biden administration and their botched withdrawal from Afghanistan.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. It was a botched withdrawal.
I'm sorry. I have to apologize for that. It wasn't botched. Joe Biden did exactly what he intended to do. You can't accidentally abandon Bagram Air Force Base. It's just not possible.
And look, they took the combat forces out before they took the civilians and the logistics people out. That was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I can't believe that was okayed. So, I mean.
So what do you guys think happens in the, Babylon Bee had that joke that they were shutting down? What happens going into the Trump administration? One of two worlds. Trump won the popular vote. People tune out and say, do your thing, whatever, don't care.
Yep.
Political content becomes unpopular because people are just tired of it and they're bored. Or Trump begins mass deportations, investigations, arrests. Democrats start panicking. Far leftists lose their minds and start firebombing. And then everyone's whole world is entrenched in political conflict.
It's immediately going to be the deportations are going to occur, and then it will immediately be illegal immigrant season. That's what all the protests will be based on. It will be they're putting kids back in cages almost immediately out of the gate is what I suspect happening.
I want deportations.
Well, they already said no mass deportations. Holman has come out and said that. It's going to be criminal aliens.
That's how they're going to start it.
But I want status quo always.
I want deportations that are going to piss off the left immensely. I want deportations that are going to make the left lose their mind.
So when it comes to
15, 20 million?
Means criminal aliens, right? So I could speak about this, right? So there's something called the CAP, Criminal Alien Program, that ICE, ERO, Immigration Customs Enforcement Removal Operations, where the field office in these major cities all over the United States, they basically only go after convicted felons or aliens that have been convicted of what's like misdemeanors or crimes of moral turpitude, or two of them. So that's what they're going to focus on. So people that are just illegally here, they're not going to go after.
What are the loose numbers on that? Do you know what the are we talking tens of thousands of people in that grouping or hundreds of thousands?
It depends on where it's located. So like in New York City, obviously they're going to have more targets than in other places. But then the other issue is like sanctuary cities, right? So like some cities don't play ball with ICE.
Yes.
Like ICE will go ahead and say, hey, look, we're putting a detainer on this individual. You need to hold the body for us to come. And then SFPD, San Francisco PD, Austin Police Department, whatever, these blue cities, they won't hold the body. They'll just let them go.
Look, Marco Rubio was on with Kristen Welker today, and he was talking about we need to deport millions of people, right? He's going to be the Secretary of State, and he's coming out and saying,
Yeah, but no immigration authority.
no, he's not. But
Yes.
the point is, if a representative of the government, like the incoming Secretary of State, is saying those kind of things, there is an appetite for it. And also, I reiterate, there is like 70% of the American people that have said they want deportations.
Yeah,
now,
for sure.
they probably say, Homan's probably saying, we're going to start this way and stuff, but there is an appetite. The American people want to see
Yes.
mass deportations.
Yeah, but they're pulling it
absolutely
back.
do.
Like they were campaigning on mass deportations. Now it's criminal aliens. Like they've kind of pulled back on it as the issue.
They
Like
have,
trust
but
me, I'm for it. I don't even want H-1B visas. I'm pretty far right when it comes to immigration. Like I don't even want the H-1B visas. I got my verification taken on Instagram on Twitter for talking about this. But yeah, I mean, there's a whole. I can talk about how we have not just an immigration problem with illegal immigration, but we also have a problem with illegal migration. The H-1B visa, the F-1 visa, the B-1, B-2 visa. All of these visas are absolutely abused by foreign nationals to come into the United States and exploit our immigration system.
But Myron, Americans are too lazy, and their work ethic means that we should hire from other countries.
Yeah, Vivek is stupid for saying that. Like,
Wait, did Vivek actually say that?
Yeah, he basically made this whole like long tweet saying
Corey
that Americans
Matthews
are lazy and we don't, we're more focused on the prom queen versus like the nerds and all this. It's like, no, bro, no, that's not what it is. The issue is this. We have a issue with H-1B visas where we just let these people come in because it's cheap labor, and we've not reeled it in, and we've not reeled in F-1 visas. People literally come here on like, oh, I'm going to learn Spanish, and I'm going to go to a language school in America. They enroll into school. They show up, they fly in, and then they never go to school, and then they're in the country illegally. And that's how a lot of people actually come to the United States, is they come in legally, and then they overstay or never leave. And then another thing too, which I talked about extensively, is like the visa waiver program. A lot of people come here from first world countries and overstay. Canada, Australia, England, etc., because we have way more opportunities here than these other places. So they come in legally, right, because they don't need a visa, and then they overstay as well. Like Miami is overrun with Canadians and people from Western Europe just wanting to get a job, right? J-1 visas also exploited all the time. So we have a massive immigration problem where not only are we getting destroyed in the southwest border, which I could talk about that, but we're also getting destroyed when it comes to the exploitation of our visa system as well. It's a huge problem. And for Vivek and Elon to just write it off as like, oh, well, the Americans are lazy. Fuck you. You don't know what you're talking about when it comes to immigration at all. And that's the problem when we have these individuals come in, right, that don't know anything about Title VIII. They don't know anything about immigration. They don't know what's going on the border. They don't understand how our visas are getting exploited. They don't know. And they're trying to talk as if they do know, and they don't.